Hi everyone, so hopefully we'll have improved audio quality again on this particular video. We're, I think, going to do a subscriber Sunday. So, on a Sunday, a little bit more of a laid back chat with you all, going over some of the things that have cropped up this week and just offering you a little bit more context about us here really. So, on the first video I made about the changes to the studio and everything like that, you guys gave me some fantastic comments, and just to address a couple of them. Now, firstly, the lighting situation that we've got going on, just to explain, we're using a Canon 650D. Now what I want to try and do is to bring all of our footage up to at very least 60 frames a second at 720p. What we'll actually be doing is taking 720p footage, upscaling it to 1080p, making a few tweaks but running it at 60 frames a second. Now where some people have noticed an issue is the way the 650D camera tends to run at 60 frames a second causes some issues. What we actually have to do is 60 frames a second is half the light allowed into the camera relative to 30 frames a second, but we then also have to crank the shutter speed to alleviate a strobing effect that a lot of light systems tend to generate due to the hertz that the lights run at, which is around 60, but never quite perfect. So in actual fact, to achieve 720p 60 on the 650D camera, I have to cut the light down by roughly 4 times, which makes things a little bit difficult. The ISO then on the camera, which is its light sensitivity, has to be boosted up to 1600, and you can get this slightly grainy effect coming through. It's something we're going to work on, and probably it'll be a combination of maybe a new camera system, possibly a change in the lights, etc., or some environmental tweaks that we still haven't quite worked out yet. But overall, that is an area we are going to be working on. Next is audio quality. Now, because of the setup changing here, I'm effectively further away from the microphone. I don't have a Lavelle microphone on. I did try one, but here was the problem. It picked up so much electromagnetic interference, all you could hear was and occasionally me talking. No good whatsoever. So going with the blue microphones, the cardioid microphones, they work beautifully once you get them in just the right position so that they're not too far away from me and not picking up too much environmental bounce back, echo effectively, and distortion. These are all areas we are working on, and they will continue to improve week by week as we've done over the last sort of 2.5 years. Now, a few people have mentioned that they really like the content mix that we're going for these days, and that's something that 12 months ago we made a very conscious effort to kind of widen the scope of the channel. In part because the subject of pure Android was kind of running out of rope. If you looked at what devices were coming through and the chips and specs that they were offering, Android kind of has stagnated over the last 12 months. 801 processors taking on from the 800 processors, and then this year we're seeing 805s running into next year. There's not been a major kind of set of innovations happening. It's not like we now have a new type of NFC or new technologies to make Android seem impressive. So in order to not get bored and to actually have things worth talking about, because we are about the cutting edge, let's start looking at other types of technologies. Let's start looking at the games and the progress that's been made in next gen, because that was a major change that we had in this last 12 months. A brand new console architecture coming through from AMD, powering both the Xbox One and PlayStation 4. And there were some dark times there, especially around the Xbox One content we were producing, because as many of you will be aware, it tends to be a bit of a war out there between Sony and Microsoft for God knows what reason. We're all gamers at the end of the day. It doesn't actually matter what console you're playing the game on as long as you're enjoying yourself. But my job here is not to kind of blow smoke in anyone's general direction, but to give you an honest opinion of what I see in the industry. And so, when you kind of look at where Microsoft was with a disastrous launch, frankly, and having so badly marketed the Xbox One and made so many questionable decisions about where it was being positioned in the market and the price point they were hitting, I made a number of predictions. Those predictions have turned out to be absolutely bang on the money, apart from one, where I said Microsoft would likely go for a redesign of their console. Well, in the last few weeks, we've heard very positive news coming out of AMD of a move to the 20nm processor, 20nm processing. Effectively, they are taking their CPU-GPU package, they're shrinking it down. When you shrink the GPU and CPU, as AMD are doing, from moving from 28nm to 20nm, the number of transistors you can effectively fit into a small space, what you'll find is that power consumption goes down, heat so thermal properties of the chip become much more tolerable, and so Microsoft and Sony are going to be able to redesign their consoles. What they're going to be able to do is to make them smaller. By making them smaller and having at high yield, a more efficient chip architecture, they'll get more chips out of each wafer, and so the cost of producing each unit comes down, as well as the physical size of the consoles, and so cost of plastics and cost of shipping comes down as well. This is great for us gamers and for new people wanting to come into the industry because it creates cheaper consoles. It means that manufacturers can produce profit, which they are desperately needing. Both in Microsoft and Sony's camps are really needing to find the profit margin in these consoles now. It works well for absolutely everyone. Now, what Microsoft isn't going to do is they're not going to redesign their console from an architecture point of view. They're not going to suddenly say, okay, we're going to clock the GPU or the CPU even higher, thus boosting frame rates, because that would cause a disparity between the consoles they have already in the market and the new consoles coming through. That has never, in my understanding, happened in the console cycle. You generally don't boost speed. What you'll look to do is to reduce thermal properties first and foremost, increase the profit yield you can get from those wafers, and move forward like that. Some other folks were asking why I always refer to us as we. Well, I'm not the only one here. There's actually 5 of us. They are all camera shy and they tend to be working behind the scenes looking at various aspects of their YouTube channel. And here's the 6th member just coasting past one of our cats. That was Tinky, by the way, the one that likes to eat. So what we have really here is me, on-camera personality as it were, playing all of the games, testing all of the hardware, but then people working behind the scenes. They're responsible for, well, the descriptions, the titles, the tags, the kind of background work that goes into making a YouTube channel successful, the promotion and the marketing, the captioning and everything like that. Now, everyone's working really to kind of my standard, as it were, what I'm looking for, and I suppose you could say I'm the lead person here from that point of view. So if you have criticisms about something we've done, the way we've put some information across something, that sits squarely on my shoulders. So what about the future? Well, a lot of this really is down to you guys, the regular subscribers. You tell me what you're kind of looking for from us, what parts of the content mix you really enjoy, which bits you aren't. Now, bearing in mind, we do have a wide range of subscribers now. You guys as viewers cross the divide from physical hardware to gaming to mobile gaming to the weird and wonderful tech we've looked at over the last couple of years as well. And so we have to try and keep that in balance. There's no right or wrong here. What I'd really like to hear from you guys is, down each of these various different channels we've been working along, what do you want to see more of? We'll try and fold that into our content mix over the next year. Something else that we're really interested in looking at is how do we grow to 100,000 subscribers? We're just short of about 46,000 so far, which is a pretty phenomenal number when we compare against other YouTube channels out there and the speed at which we've grown. We're really talking 2.5 years to reach 46,000 subscribers, which I consider to be pretty good. I'm happy with that, put it that way. But how do we then get to the 100,000? Well, one of the things I'm thinking about is a prize pool. We've obviously got, up on the wall there, quite a lot of things we've been sent, which a lot of the time we either try and give away, or we make use of in future testing projects and so on. But what if we created a prize pool? What if we took every product we get sent, plus other bits and pieces we've picked up and bought ourselves for testing and showing you guys, and we put it into a single prize pool that was only won once we hit the 100,000 subscriber mark, and would only go to our subscribers. Now, that effectively is a 1 in 100,000 chance of winning, but it's still a chance of winning. And if you're in the UK, you'll have heard of The Gadget Show. That's probably still better odds than The Gadget Show. Hey! So, would that be something that you would find interesting? Is that something that you would like to tell your friends about? Hey, come and subscribe to this channel. Someone's going to win an ever-growing pile of cool stuff. Let me know in the comments if, generally speaking, people are interested in that idea, or if you have any ideas on how we could do it differently, let me know. If it feels like it will work, we're going to go for it. It's as simple as that, really. So anyway, I hope you've enjoyed a slightly different, more laid-back video today, with me mostly talking. Hey, do let me know in the comments what you think, and as always, keep that feedback coming in. We do build on it, and we're always listening to what you guys say and trying to improve the show as best we can. Obviously, we're always going to be limited by time and money. If we can ever overcome those two aspects, we can do anything you ever want. Thanks for watching. Do please subscribe to us on YouTube and Twitch, and please like and comment on these videos as well. We love to chat.